How would you like to never feel emotionally hurt again? Well, today we're going to talk about how to manage the emotion of hurt in a relationship. Well, let's talk first today about emotions, what they are and where they come from, and what their purpose is. So emotions are energy or energy in motion, and emotions are normal and natural. We all experience them, and they're neither good nor bad. They just are. It's really about what we do with our emotion that determines whether they're good or bad or positive or negative. But the emotions in and of themselves just are. They're just part of who we are. So where do emotions come from? This is really important because oftentimes we think that emotions are imposed upon us from external sources. So from situations, circumstances, other people, things that happen. So we have this belief that when this thing happens, that it creates this emotion. And you can think about certain situations in your life where it seems like, that's the case. Somebody makes fun of me. Well, I'm going to feel sad. Well, maybe. A lot of people might feel sad when they're made fun of, but other people might feel mad when they're made fun of. Other people might feel fear when they're made fun of. So the truth is the event or the circumstance does not create the emotion. There's something in between that. And so you have the event, or we'll call it an antecedent. So this is what happens first. So you have the A, and again, the belief is that sometimes the event creates the emotion. So that would look like, the equation for that would be A equals E. The antecedent equals the emotion. But because of what we just talked about, in the situation of somebody making fun of me, that's the antecedent. I'm being made fun of. But in between that and the emotion, there's something else that takes place. And that's my thoughts. It's my thoughts about the event that's taking place that really determines the emotion that I feel. So I'm being made fun of, and I have certain thoughts about that. And for me, maybe that causes me to feel sad. For somebody else, it may cause them to feel mad. And another person may feel angry. Another person may find humor in it. So they may even think it's funny and laugh about it. So what is it that determines the thoughts that create the emotion? Well, it's our experiences. It's throughout our life, we have events, we have thoughts about them, we create emotions, and then we behave in accordance with those thoughts and beliefs, and then those behaviors give us our outcomes. When we get the outcomes that we want, we tend to repeat the behavior. When we get outcomes that we don't want, we try something new until we come up with a behavior that gives us the outcome that we want. So maybe one person, when they get made fun of, they cry and they get sympathy and attention from other people, and now they feel better. Well, maybe another person, when they get made fun of, they get mad, and so they get angry at that person, and maybe they punch that person, and then that person backs off and leaves them alone. And so they've learned throughout their life that anger and then intimidation and fighting gets them what they want. But maybe another person gets mad and they punch the person, but then that person turns around and beats them up. And so because of that experience, they may go, I'm not going to do that again. And they try something different. And maybe the next time they cry, and when they cry, they get attention and comfort, and they go, that works a lot better. I think I'm going to do that next time. Now, again, that probably doesn't happen at a conscious level. It happens more at a subconscious level. But here's something to consider. If we think about that, then our emotions, we have go-to emotions because we then behave in a certain way that gives us the outcome that we want. So in a sense, our emotions are used to manipulate the outcomes. Oftentimes in relationships, we can use emotions to manipulate our partner. We can use our emotions to get what we want, but it's in a manipulative way instead of an upfront, accountable way. And the reason for that is because of that belief that we're not in control of our emotion. So you said something that hurt me. And so now when I'm hurt, let's say that I cry because of that. And now when I cry, you feel bad, and so you apologize to me. What that seems to do is to say that I'm hurt because of what you did. But from what we just explained, that isn't true, right? I'm hurt because of what I thought about what you did. But I could also choose to feel a different emotion, but I go to hurt because hurt seems to work for me and to give me what I want. Does that make sense? So think about that in a relationship. Whenever we feel manipulated, do you like that? Is that a good feeling, or is that not so good of a feeling? And does it help strengthen and build the relationship? Does it build trust in the relationship, or does it build resentment and sometimes create situations where, we may get into kind of a win-lose thing. So you manipulated me, or you blamed me for doing this, and I really don't feel responsible for that, but I felt like I had to respond in the way that you wanted me to respond in order for everything to be okay. Man, now we get real confused in the relationship because I'm taking responsibility for you being hurt, or I'm taking responsibility for you being sad, or I'm taking responsibility for you being angry. The truth is, each one of us are responsible for our own emotions. Now, again, this may be kind of difficult to hear, but it's important because principles govern this world in which we live. And the truth is, each one of us are accountable for ourselves and for our own life. We are also accountable for the emotions that we feel. We get to choose them. And whenever we don't take accountability, so we blame other people or other things, we give away our power and our control. And then we go to a behavior that in many ways is really dishonest, because what we're trying to do is control or manipulate other people to behave in ways that we want them to behave, but not coming straight out and asking for it, not being totally honest about what we need and what we want in the relationship. So think about that. In your relationship, do you want total honesty? Do you want to be able to share with your partner how you feel, and to be able to say to them, and to have the trust that we know that each one of us are committed to this relationship and we're committed to each other? And I would never intentionally do anything to hurt you. So if I'm doing something and you're feeling hurt, well, man, let's talk about then where that hurt is coming from, because maybe there's some misunderstanding or miscommunication going on, that if we actually talk about it, we can come up with a solution. And as we come up with that solution, think about what that would do to the relationship and how that would build trust. Whereas when we don't really talk about what's going on, we just feel manipulated, and I'm feeling out of control because you did something to hurt me, rather than feeling like, no, I'm empowered to feel whatever I want to feel. And if I can engage and turn my brain on it and realize what's happening here and identify some of those non-working patterns, those really selfish patterns of behavior that may get us what we want in the short term, but long term do not benefit us. And if we're in a relationship where the trust is there, or I'm willing to create a relationship of trust, so I'm going to be willing to risk and to talk about how, when you said that, this is how I feel, and this connects to my beliefs about this way. And man, I'm going to open up and be vulnerable with you and share with you more of who I really am, which will allow you, as you get to know me, because you care about me, to begin to change your behavior. But I'm going to be patient with you as you're working on changing. And then think about what that is going to do to me as I see a person who is willing to change because I was open and honest and shared with them what's important to me. And because it's important to me, it's now important to them. This is the way to deal with emotions in a relationship. Again, today we talk specifically about hurt. So I would encourage you, if that's an emotion that you feel often, to look at yourself and say, what are the thoughts and beliefs behind that? When is it that I choose to feel hurt? How is it that I behave when I am hurt? What's the payoff or the result that I get from that pattern of behavior? And what would happen if I started to be honest? So I took accountability for choosing to feel hurt. I know what it is that I need or what I want right now, and I'm going to ask for it in a straightforward way. Watch and see how that begins to impact your relationship, and see if you don't find more trust, and as a result, more peace and more happiness, joy, and fulfillment in your relationships. Thanks for watching. If you're on LinkedIn and you enjoy what you're hearing, go ahead and start following me. If you're watching on YouTube and you like this, then like the video, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to know more about who we are and what we're doing, visit our website at principlebasedliving.com.